Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Fear the Walking Dead review. This video is for Season 4, Episode 4, titled Buried. Now, buried, the way I take it, in this episode, meaning literally buried, as in they had to bury Nick. Nick was buried by the end of the episode. Could also have a double meaning. Could mean the buried weapons that they had, Alicia Strand and company had hidden somewhere out. We don't know where they are really in relation to where the stadium was. They're in the area somewhere because we know we saw Ennis driving the El Camino around there, so they're pretty close to where the stadium was. I'm pretty sure the vultures are still in that same relative vicinity. So, could also mean they buried the past. But they're bringing up the past in this entire episode. So, well, not to dwell too much on that. This episode I liked. It was one of the more eventful episodes for me for several reasons. Unlike many people that I've been hearing, I'm a fan of the back and forth. You have to catch up Fear to the current timeline. So the way you do that, you do a time jump, and then sort of explain, show rather than show and explain. It's a mix of both. Show and explain what happened in between the past portion and the present portion. And they're doing that quite nicely. They're doing it in a mix of Alicia and company saying, this is what happened, it went wrong, this happened, so-and-so died, etc. And then they're also showing it. They're showing past events. They haven't really shown too much going wrong in the past, outside of the vultures showing up, the crops dying, but we have yet to see just exactly what happens to everybody, what the specific date, when it all goes wrong, what specifically happens. That's what I'm waiting for, and that's one of the big draws of this season is basically what the heck happened. What, happened at the stadium. Why don't they fight the vultures? Yes, they might have the numbers, but our group does have guns. We do have plenty of ammo, as they've shown. Why not use it? Why not just take these guys by surprise and just wipe them out? I mean, it was kind of revealed that it might not be just that one group. There might be multiple sort of factions of that group. They were mentioning in this week's episode about them regrouping, splitting up and regrouping. Now, is that one group splitting up and regrouping somewhere else, or are there multiple groups, or is that multiple groups combined? I, for one, am looking forward to seeing more about these new antagonists, the vultures. They're very interesting. Like I described them, I believe, in my last video, passive-aggressive. They're not going to go around killing people like they could if they wanted to several times. They're just going to inconvenience them, stalk them, beat them to supplies, things like that. They're like that until whatever group they're, currently holding siege dies. Pretty much that's what they're waiting for, and then they just take the stuff anyway. They are literally vultures. So, going to break this episode down as best I can for you guys. Basically, this episode is told through interviews. Al is interviewing Alicia, Strand, and Luciana about what happened. She's getting their story as to what happened, what went wrong, why they're going after these people, what they did. But before that, we have Luciana putting down Nick, and Alicia kills Walker Ennis. To confirm that is how you say his name. Mel said it in this episode. They all sort of are lamenting that they could have stopped what happened. They could have prevented what happened to Nick from happening. For various reasons. Oh, they should have stayed. They should have fought. They should have went somewhere else. And they're saying if they had, Nick would still be alive. Now, yes, I know they killed Nick off because he has to be killed off, but do I think this was a really good time to kill him off? No. I stand by that. I don't think it was a good point to kill him off. They should have played out this storyline, finished season 4, have him sort of redeem Charlie. I thought that would have been a good way to go. But maybe die doing it, or something like that. I think there's more they could have done with Nick. They could have drawn it out a little bit more. But anyway, I'm going to get back to this review of what happened in this episode. So they basically regret, they're lamenting about decisions they've made. This is in the present timeline. Now, in the past, excuse me, I don't know this guy's name, Strand, and I don't know, if they said his name, I didn't pick up on it. They probably did, but anyway, they go on a run, and apparently that guy doesn't have a weapon because he's basically running away from a walker. He grabs hedge, a little clipper, and stabs the walker with it. I mean, it worked, but you don't have a knife. Like, didn't you just pull out a knife and just stab it? Why go through all that? Anyway, they're going to what appears to be a greenhouse. A lot of cacti there, walkers with cactus spikes in them. The guy got some when the walker was on him, so they sort of hit the jackpot in terms of that stuff. They get a lot of plants, they get a lot of stuff they can use there. And then Strand takes, what's his name, whatever, to a little secret spot. And he's talking this whole time about, he's holding a rock, saying, reminding him that he doesn't want to be that person again. Talking about the person he was before when he lied. But he is still being that person. He is still that person. Up until this episode, he was that person. He's revealed that he's been hoarding food. Food that could have been rationed out. Could have provided for people for an extra day. He was lying to people. He was keeping stuff from the group. But anyway, so that guy leaves, and Strand stays with his stash. And Strand sort of has a long look at himself in that moment. Yeah, he's been hoarding the food and supplies since the crops died. So, not a long time, but he did revert back to his own ways temporarily. Okay, Nick and Luciana appear to be going. They go to a library. They're at a library. Nick sort of wants to make things work. Luciana wants to get out of there. Maybe find another place. They find an atlas. Yeah, it's sort of like a no. It's not an atlas. Little road map, like traveler guide of the southwestern U.S. And she suggests just picking a random opening to whatever page they open to. That's where they go. And that's sort of her regret. They picked a place and they went there. And it was revealed that that place was so far north, so far out that the vultures couldn't get there. So Nick wants to sort of make things work. We know he's a little traumatized, has that PTSD still. He doesn't really want to go out as much. But he did in this episode and might be getting over it, but Luciana says later that she feels guilty that she forced him to leave. Now, if it didn't, maybe he would still be alive. Okay, Alicia and Naomi go to a water park. Fun. It appears there was a group, holding up there. And it's filled with walkers. The big water slide there is barricaded, so they go up the actual slide. They get to the top. They find there's a walker up there. Basically knocks them both into down a slide right to this little circular area which has water in the middle, and the water is filled with walkers. They can't really get out. And the one slides down with Naomi. And then there was another one that Alicia was fighting. She ends up going down with the little muzzle of the machine gun that was up there. Saves Naomi with it. And they get back up there, and it's loaded with medical supplies. Now, Alicia takes a look at the surrounding area. Naomi books it. She's about ready to leave, but the car she was going to steal, she found the keys to, was out of gas. So they talk, and she eventually agrees to go back, and she opens up an infirmary with the medical supplies that they found. And they're going to try and make things work. She was a little leery because she was, I think, out of place once, so. Strand comes back with his stash. He doesn't tell Madison that he was hoarding it. He just brings it and gives it to her. So he came around, he did the right thing. He does say that he should have kept it to himself, or should have kept going. Yeah, he said he should have kept it to himself in the interviews. Okay, this is backtracking a little bit. I apologize. We get a little bit more of a background insight into Mel and Ennis. They were at a place, the same way Madison and them are at the stadium. They're at this place. They're trying to make it work. They're trying to survive there. And there's a fire. And they convince people to stay. And they're the only ones who made it out alive. Now, whether they convinced people to stay on purpose to get them, because they knew they wouldn't, and that people would die, I don't think he would do that on purpose and just murder people like that. Like I don't think he would deliberately cause the death of however many people there were at their camp. So I think he legitimately thought they could make it, and now he's scarred from that. And now he came to this epiphany, this realization that settlements don't last, and he brings that. He sees it as his sort of mission to show that these places can't last by doing what they're doing. Now, if he was doing what he was doing, like if he wasn't doing what he was doing and he was with a group, communities couldn't last. If these people joined up with Madison and the people at the stadium, they could make that work together. They could plant more crops. They could share the supplies, but no, he's dead set. Madison made him that offer. He kept his offer up of her joining them, and we're still at the status quo. Okay, back in the present timeline, we have the stash of weapons that I mentioned earlier. And then Morgan's like, this isn't even about burying Nick, this is about killing them all. They do bury Nick, they bury him by a tree. Morgan said he liked to grow things, right? And Morgan goes and puts the bluebonnet flower on his grave. Sort of just has a quiet moment, no words are exchanged. And then they plan to go wherever the vultures are regrouping. And as they're packing, John recognizes a bag that they were holding that he said belonged to Laura. And they give it to him, he's looking at it, and he finds the gun similar to his gun that says JD on it, so John Dory. And he's asking about her, where he said her name is Naomi, so he said, so she lied to somebody. She either lied to him, she lied to Alicia and company, or she just lied to everybody and her real name isn't either Laura or Naomi. But either way, she lied about her. She didn't tell him her real name. I'm assuming her name is Naomi, unless she just gives everybody a different name that she bumps into. I don't know. Anyway, he asks about where she is. She didn't make it. So, boom, we have that. Another. Not only was she sort of a major character in this season, she's really, she's a new character. She is, new to the season. She's only been in 3 episodes at this point. She wasn't in the first one. And now they said she died. Now, we haven't seen it yet, just like we haven't seen Madison. We haven't seen anybody else from the stadium die, so they could have assumed she died and she didn't, or they're covering it up and she left. And she fled, didn't want to be found, something of that nature. But at this point, we're going on the assumption that she didn't make it. Okay, so John decides to go off on his own. Morgan joins him, and then Al goes with Alicia and company to go look for the vultures. So overall, my top 5 moments are the little interview schematic with them, talking about what they regret and how they wish things worked differently, how they could have fixed things. 4 is the stash of weapons and the vulture killing plan. 3 is revealing more about Mel's background. 2 is Strand going back to his own old ways, hoarding food. And 1, that reveal at the end that Naomi and Laura are the same person, and as far as we know, she didn't make it out of the stadium. So, I'm looking forward to more developments on that front. Given that the next episode is going to be entirely, or mostly entirely, about John meeting Laura, or Naomi, whatever. There's going to be a little bit of Morgan going in there too, because Morgan's with John at this point. So, we'll see how that goes. I'll talk about that in my predictions video. Walker Kill of the Week is Alicia with the piece of the gun, muzzle that broke off. And I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. It was a great episode, nice little twist at the end with Naomi, Laura. And who's Naomi? Who's Laura? I couldn't resist the Abraham little, who's Deanna? Anyway, I like the way this episode was set up. We're getting piece by piece about everybody, about what happened, and more about, importantly to me, and hopefully a lot of you, more about the vultures. Who exactly are these people? So hopefully we'll get more tidbits sprinkled in throughout the season. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happened to everybody at the stadium. If they're being held hostage, maybe Madison run with the vultures to spare people. We don't know. Maybe she's being held hostage. Anybody's guess at this point. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode as well as my review. And I will be doing my predictions video for the next episode shortly after this. And then I'll have them both posted up shortly. So, everybody, this is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces.